skate went out. And they moved forward. That gives them a cut track call. So this is a power jam for Hellenati, while Gay of Reckoning is being sent to the Night Owl penalty box to serve 30 seconds. So that means 30 seconds for Hellenati to make as many points as they're able. That is full offense here by number 01, Goldie Knox, now followed by the rest of the Arizona roller derby contingent here. Hellenati gets full 4 points and calls off the jam. That leaves Gay of Reckoning in the box to start off the next jam. So we got a power start. 12 points, bringing up Arizona to 43. JRD still held at 0, but this is only jam 7. Still plenty of time.
We've got jam number 8, Power Jam, starting off with Jaws Breaker for Arizona Roller Derby, leaving Gay of Reckoning stuck in the Night Owl penalty box. Looks like we have some kind of timeout.
More than likely an official timeout, just to double check everything is good to go. Oh, nope, it is a team timeout being called by Arizona. More than likely just to talk strategy a little bit before their power jam here, which we would call a power start, because they are starting with only their jammer on the track.
Can we talk about how amazingly sparkly the
Captain
coach is of Jewish roller derby?
Sequins on sequins on sequins.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's a goal.
That's right.
It's
give us a spin. Give us a turn for the audience here that is able to see this in its full glory.
Amazing.
Yes, we love a good spin. Also like to give a shout out to those very shiny gold pants that the lineup coach is rocking here for JRD as well.
Here we go, rolling into jam number 8.
Whoop.
We've got Jaws starting a power jam. And she makes it through and picks up lead jammer. Gay of Reckoning heads back to the track from the penalty box wearing the star. And we've got Ima Blobaya from Arizona headed to the penalty box. Jaws making her first scoring pass through the pack, picks up 4 points. And calls it off. I think there was a little bit of confusion there.
You know what? Sometimes when you're running out of oxygen as a jammer, you just go for the closest thing, which is, I guess, your head. It's like, please save me.
Sometimes it bees like that.
But it's all right. We love you, Jaws.
Maybe we should make that a thing.
Maybe.
Maybe calling it off should be on your helmet only.
Who knows? That might end up causing some sort of penalty. Now, all right, everybody just taking that outside lane, trying to get in the way of West Coast Mafia, but takes that opportunity and that confusion to take full force out and with lead. But we got Bella Labral out as well, trying to catch up to West Coast Mafia, who is being taken to the inside and has to call off the jam, forcing that call off for Arizona. That is a scoreless jam. JRD quick to just force that call up for them here. We're still at 51 for Arizona. RD with 19 and a half minutes left.
Jam number 10, we have Gail Satan skating for Arizona, and number 303, Doctor of Destruction for Jewish Roller Derby. Looks like Doctor of Destruction is the doctor of the penalty box as she heads to the box, followed closely by Gail Satan.
Jammer do-si-do.
So when 2 jammers go to the penalty box, the first one is released, and the second one only has to serve as much time as the first one served.
So
that keeps the action going.
Exactly.
It's kind of boring when there's no jammers on the track.
Very nice.
Gail Satan makes it out of the pack and heads back into the pack. She cannot call it off because she went to the penalty box, and that means that she loses lead jammer status. This jam will be a full 2 minutes. Gail Satan heads into the pack again and makes it out with an additional 4 points.
Ooh.
Makes one more lap, picks up another 4 points. Doctor of Destruction is trying to get through the pack. Oof. And looks like they are headed back to the penalty box on a cut track call. And Gail Satan picks up another 4 points. Arizona's forming up their offense to get Gail Satan through very, very quickly. And it looks like Gail Satan picked up 20 whole entire points for that jam. So far, that's the most points per jam of the game.
Yep, that is correct. And this is a power start for Arizona Roller Derby. As you know, that last jam, we had Doctor of Destruction being sent to the box for a cut track call for not exiting the track quickly enough. Looks like we do have a skater standing in the Night Owl penalty box. That is a blocker. Looks like Sonny Ono for Arizona Roller Derby. So this is a pack advantage for JRD to try to stop Helenati, but Arizona with just 3 blockers splits up that pack enough to let Helenati through. Sonny Ono returning from the Night Owl penalty box. This is full offense for Arizona Roller Derby, but just as Helenati is getting through the pack, we see the return of Doctor of Destruction, who has to quickly run through the pack and through the inside lane. Ouch. Looks like we do see a blocker for Arizona Roller Derby in the Night Owl penalty box. So that is a opportunity for JRD to run some offense for Doctor of Destruction. Doctor of Destruction only having 2 more blockers to go around, takes the inside lane and gets those points for JRD, just as Helenati runs on the outside lane, taking down a blocker for JRD, picking up 4 points themselves. Looks like AZRD has the box fully cleared out, so this is a strategy. You can let the jam run as long as you'd like to clear out the Night Owl penalty box to get your people back. So you have a full setup next jam. So looks like we've got a team timeout being called. That is, okay, so the last team timeout was JRD, but now it is Arizona calling the team timeout, who in that last jam picked up 8 points, bringing up their score to 79, and JRD picking a solid 4 points, bringing up their score to 8. We'll take some time here to thank our sponsors. Arizona Roller Derby is proud to be sponsored by 888, elevating derby safety standards with cutting-edge technology. Thank you, 888, and also thank 187 Killer Pads. Their industrial strength materials and unmatched ergonomic design just shows unparalleled excellence in their inventory. Thank you, 187 Killer Pads. And we're back to the action. Who do we got on the track, Mecca?
Here we go, jam number 11. We've got Jaws, number 84, skating for Arizona, and number 14, Sonnet Boom. Sonnet Boom picks up lead jam as she makes it out of the pack first. And she heads back into the pack, hoping to pick up points. Jaws makes it out of the pack. We've got number 14 calling it off. I believe she picked up 3 points. That's 3 points for JRD and 0 for Arizona.
Nice rousing battle cry on the track here for JRD as we see Demand Beating on the track, starting far back to gain some speed up against the West Coast Mafia. West Coast Mafia coming up to the pivot line to that pack up at the front. Everybody nice and basically bunched up here in turn 1 at the apex now. Everybody being pushed up to turn 3. Goldie throwing some nice pushy offense for West Coast Mafia, who gets through that pack out with lead for Arizona Roller Derby. Demand Beating in the meantime has 2 people to contend with. It looks like that's Goldie and Skatey up at the front doing a nice 2-blocker defense, taking down Goldie. West Coast Mafia having 1 more to beat. That's 626. Trying to take them down. Lilo returning back to their pack to offer that defense here. And back to offense. And that star pass over to Schindler's Fist, number 713, who has quite the tough time trying to get around Goldie Knox, but eventually has to let him go. West Coast Mafia looking to their team, seeing where the offense is going to come from. Tries for the inside lane, but JRD holding fast, forcing the call off before Schindler's Fist can hit the pack. Gets those last 3 points before calling it off. So 7 points in total picked up by West Coast Mafia, bringing up their score to 86 to JRD's 11 with 13 minutes left in this first half.
Jam number 14, we have Gail Satan and Bella Labral as jammers. Whistle blows, and we got Gail Satan making her way through the pack first, picks up lead jam. In case anyone was wondering, when you make it through the pack first as a jammer, that gives you lead jammer status, which means that at any time you can call the jam off and end it strategically at any point. Or you can go for 2 minutes. Bella makes it through the pack and is on their first scoring pass, except Satan calls it off before they can score any points. So we pick up, looks like 6 points for JRD and 4 points for Arizona.
Looks like an official review is being called by JRD. We will get more info here in a second about what that official review is for.
I suck at announcing, just so you know. It's fine. I'm just new. You know. Yeah, true. I don't have the brain to mouth connection. It's very slow. Yeah, and I can't hear the other person, and so I can't hear it from in the speakers, and then I also can't hear you in person.
You see the score? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. It's hard to see that.
So the score currently, what we're looking at, is 90 points for Arizona and 17 points for Jewish Roller Derby.
Yep, and we do have 11 and a half minutes left in this first half, and then we have a whole second half.
You know, one thing I really, really like about roller derby is that it doesn't matter what the score is. We all go out there and we leave it on the track and we play our heart outs, whether we score 1 point or 400.
No, I agree. And then second half, you never know what happens in those like 15 minutes of that break. What rousing speech a captain gives to turn things around in the second half. And I mean, we have a whole 11 and a half minutes left to see
Oh,
the
anything
gap
can
being
happen.
bridged here. So I think it's just a matter of tightening up those defensive strategies against these pretty strong jammers on both ends. But AZRD has been so far locking it down, calling it off when they can, just making sure their box is cleared of their own people. So a lot of good strategy being played on the track and with good attitudes. All right. We also would like to thank our penalty box sponsor, Night Owl Pizzeria. Our goal is to provide superb New York style pizza by the slice and smash burgers with a warm and eclectic atmosphere, served by a friendly and welcoming staff.
They did not win that. No penalty was assessed.
Okay,
I don't know how to say that.
that's fine. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so it looks like at the end of that official review, it looks like JRD was calling for a penalty on Arizona's jammer, but they did not win that review. So we will be gearing up for the next jam here at full force for both packs and both jammers on the track. And there's that whistle. We're getting ready to get back into the action. It looks like they've fielded Helenati for Arizona against number 303, Doctor of Destruction. Doctor of Destruction trying for the inside lane, quickly pushing their way up through the pack, but Helenati sneaks through on the inside lane and is out with lead for Arizona Roller Derby. Doctor of Destruction being held back by 2x4, who is knocked a little ways out of the way by JRD's pivot, but JRD quick to form a defensive tripod here. Naughty just tiptoeing through the inside lane, met by the pivot for JRD. Number 14, Sonnet Boom, gets called on a penalty and set to the Night Owl penalty box, letting Helenati through for 4 points in the air. But just as they get out, Doctor of Destruction tailing them close and forcing the call off before they can get any more points in that. And that ends with 4 points in the air for Arizona, 0 for JRD, 94 points for Arizona, and 17 points. So this will be a pack advantage for Arizona Roller Derby, who has full.
Jam number 16, Jaws Breaker for skating for Arizona, and 626, Lilo of the Stitches for JRD. I hear lots of whistles. Jaws makes it through, picks up lead jam. And we've got an Arizona blocker headed to the box. And another Arizona blocker headed to the box. Jaws picks up 4 points on that last pass. It looks like Jaws won't be calling it.
Yeah, it looks like we have 2 blockers in the Night Owl penalty box for Arizona Roller Derby, so this is just them trying to get their people out.
Sherman takes out their jammer, preventing them from making another lap. Jaws pushes her way through, is knocked out, and makes it around, picking up 4 more points for Arizona. And then they call it off because our blockers are out of the box.
Sorry, Arizona's block. Not our block.
That is correct. The box was fully cleared before they called off the jam. So again, that's just strategy, making sure that we've got all our people possible to make a good defensive formation for the next jam. So 5-second call. Everybody just kind of formed in a little bit of a formation to slow down JRD's jammer. Meanwhile, West Coast Mafia trying to push their way up. They're still stuck here at turn 1. Now West Coast Mafia just sliding through on the inside lane and is out with lead. That means we've got JRD on full alert to try to get, looks like, who is that? I cannot see. Oh! See, you've always got to take a second glance just to make sure that you are not going to cut the track. So that was definitely a good strategy for JRD's jammer to still come back around, but that does get them stuck behind Arizona's defense. Arizona's defense did get pushed out along with number 6'9". West Coast Mafia sliding around, trying to go in where their offense is hitting, which is going in with some force, and is out with the last 4 points in the air. Defense is definitely locking down. Now we've pretty much reached the century mark for over 10. So 110 points for Arizona, JRD at 21. With 7 minutes left, looks like the whistle's being called, and the officials are calling a timeout for themselves. Just gonna take a second, make sure the scoreboard is working, everything is ready to go. They might need a breather because the officials also have to skate laps. This is an endurance drill for them. So we'll give them a second to recollect, drink some water, make sure everything's working before we get back into the action. What are you seeing so far on the track? What would you say is working well for JRD at this time?
Definitely using 3 blockers on Arizona's jammer seems to be working better than 2 blockers. I think it's important for them to keep all of their blockers on the track and out of the box.
Smart, smart.
They've got some hard hitters out there. Gail Satan picks up lead jammer status, comes around for their second pass and first scoring pass, picks up 4 points. Kind of does a little mini jump over the apex. We've got Schindler's Fist fighting through the Arizona blockers as Satan makes 1 more pass, picking up 4 additional points. JRD's jammer gets some offense from their team. And Satan picks up an additional 4 points. I tell you what, I do not envy JRD's blockers having to skate against Arizona's all-star team. Satan approaches 1 more time. Evades their blockers and picks up 4 more points. I think she's trying to break her own 20-point record.
Well, she's getting close. She's getting close. Just needs a couple more laps. They've got 41 seconds to do that.
Satan steps out of the track just by a little tiny hair, but that would be a cut track if they didn't go back. Gail Satan calls it off with 16-point jam, bringing Arizona's to 130, and Jewish Roller Derby picks up 0 and has a score of 21.
Why is his finger in the air?
There was an extra point towards the end, which was a little sneaky point, you know. Sometimes we don't see the last hip that's caught in that last bit of the jam, but 5-second call on the track. We've got Doctor of Destruction going up against Helenati. Doctor of Destruction running up forward, trying to break through that tripod for Arizona Roller Derby, but they're holding fast and trying to push them out, but Doctor of Destruction just spins around it and is now tailing Helenati, who was assigned lead, but now it's a race between jammers and blockers. Blockers picking up speed, trying to make sure that they keep well out of the reach of these jammers. Both of them trying to, see who forces off the call-off first. All right, Helenati now catching up. Doctor of Destruction still closely tailing her. And Naughty gets one hip and calls off the jam before Doctor of Destruction can past any hips. That was quite the race. Very close. So that's 1 point in the air, bringing up Arizona to 132. JRD kept at 21 with 4 minutes left in this first half. Wow, the time went by quick. It was like 15 minutes not that long ago.
Gym number 20, we have Jaws skating for Arizona. And number 14, Sonic Boom for JRD. It looks like JRD's jammer kind of paused a little bit to try and help their blockers contain Jaws. And Jaws makes it through, picks up lead jammer status. Jaws approaches the back of the pack again, starts to make their way through. A little help of some offense from Ima. And Squeezer throws down one of JRD's blockers. There was a helmet pass. Helmet pass. Helmet cover pass. Number 7-5 has possession of the star and is trying to make their way through the pack. Jaws approaches again from behind and snakes her way through.
Fun fact, not so fun fact. Sherman, number 4 from Arizona Roller Derby, has made their appearance with JRD during several tournaments, including the Roller Derby World Cup with them. So it must be, good to have Sherman on Arizona Roller Derby side, so they have some insider knowledge on how JRD works, which clearly it's been working on their favor even without Sherman's help. But if you've seen how they've been working, JRD has been throwing some really good offense. They know how to transition between D to O and then back to D pretty quickly. It's just that Arizona Roller Derby has been locking it down with their defense and just keeping those jammers back just long enough to have their jammers control the jam by getting lead. So that's been working mostly in their favor for Arizona, is that they've had control for most of these jams for the entirety of this first half. So that's where we're seeing this big disparity, even though JRD is a pretty amazing team in their own right. So as it stands, now after that official timeout, oh, wait a minute, might be extended, give it a second. So we're at 143 for Arizona Roller Derby and 21 for JRD. And a dance break before the 5-second call. We have Demand a Beating for JRD running up the track, going up against West Coast Mafia, who's been held at the back of the pack by JRD. JRD channeling that, ring around the rosy dance at the beginning of the jam, letting Demand a Beating through with lead, much to the joy of their team. Demand a Beating going through the inside lane, pushing up against that defense for Arizona Roller Derby, who's now just set up in a nice defensive formation up at the front. But Demand a Beating has 2 left to beat. Murder and Goldie holding fast on them, but they're eventually going to have to bridge. Meanwhile, Katie is now star in hand, taking over for West Coast Mafia, who's returned to blocker formation for them, forcing the call off for JRD, but they pick up some points there for JRD. That is a full 4 points for Demand a Beating, keeping Arizona scoreless in that jam. That's 143 Arizona and 25 for JRD.
Jam number 22, we have Gail Satan skating for Arizona, and Bella Labral for JRD. Satan makes it through and is lead jammer. That was an interesting way for Bella Labral to approach the pack right before the whistle to start the jam. We used to do that a lot. I haven't seen that in a really long time. Gail Satan makes it through the pack. The first scoring pass picks up 4 points, followed close behind by number 97, Bella. Satan approaches the pack again, gets some points, calls it off, preventing Bella from picking up any points. Gail Satan picks up a total of what looks like it's going to be 6 points on that jam.
And that's intermission.
Woohoo!
Well, at the end of that, we are at the end of this first half, we are at 149 for Arizona All-Stars and 25 for Jewish Roller Derby. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Go to the concession stand. We do have concessions at the front. The Juniors Roller Derby team for Arizona is selling goodies. And we also have a food truck outside if you would like to get a nice meal in. For your viewing pleasure, they'll have, nice snacks. But definitely come back for the second half of this game. We still have plenty of roller derby.
5 is okay. All right. If the other ones are fine, the other ones are fine.
I think you gotta check in, make sure he's like mentally sound.
They live with us. He doesn't even have a job and he's married. I can't. I can't. I cannot. I cannot.
Well,
Yeah, like a week before. And my
welcome back.
get home until
We are here on day one of Rattleskate Rumble, hosted by Arizona Roller Derby out of Mesa, Arizona at the Broadway Rec Center. So far, we have started with game one here between Arizona All-Stars and Jewish Roller Derby. Score being 149 to JRD's 25. Looks like at this point, Arizona Roller Derby has had a pretty solid lead so far between JRD, but it has been 15 minutes for JRD to get their strategy going. Looks like Gail Satan going up against Doctor of Destruction. JRD holding fast on Gail Satan. It's a bit of a scrum here on turn one, but Gail Satan finds some room on the outside and is out with lead. Doctor of Destruction being held back by, it looks like Sherman and TKO. Sherman being sent to the Night Owl penalty box for direction. Doctor of Destruction out, but Satan calls the jam before they're able to hit the pack. 4 points in the air for AZRD, bringing up to 153, keeping JRD at 25.
We've got jam number 2, starting off with West Coast Mafia for Arizona and Sonnet Boom for JRD. Boom, boom, boom. And they're off. We've got some jammer on jammer action. It looks like Sonnet Boom was helping out her blockers, trying to keep West Coast Mafia contained, and we can see that that did not work. West Coast Mafia makes it out of the pack first, picks up lead jammer, followed closely behind by Sonnet Boom. Arizona's blockers help get West Coast Mafia through, and they pick up 4 points and call off the jam. JRD's jammer picks up 1 point. There is much celebrating.
We love a good celebration of all of our wins. Gives us some good momentum here. Five-second call, everybody nice and tight on the jammer line here. We've got Demand a Beating going up against Jaw Breaker. Jaws running through the front and gets him and out with lead for Arizona. Meanwhile, Demand a Beating trying to push their way through on the inside line, trying to cut the center, pushes that pack forward, forcing the bridge already here. That tripod holding fast. Looks like Squeezer and Sunny Ono being held fast at the helm by Razorcat. Demand a Beating just star in hand, trying to find some purchase through that tripod. Tripod is still working, but also taking a look and see if they can offer some assistance to Jaws, who doesn't need some help. Actually skips through on the outside lane, picks up 4 for Arizona. All right. Little bit of a stall here at turn 4. And Jaws out for 4 points. Meanwhile, JRD working on getting some movement going here. Star has been passed over to Meshugganough. Meshugganough with Star in hand, still trying to just find their way through, but gets knocked out at the last second by Squeezer. Squeezer and Sherman just quick to knock him down again. It's pretty hard to get around a tripod of that. Just, what would be the term you would think? Proactivity, yes. I would say they were a very proactive defensive squad here. Meanwhile, Jaws is just being held tight at the front. A nice solid tripod while Sherman is trying to offer some offensive assistance to Jaws, who's now been caught by JRD's defense, but split up enough with the help of Sunny Ono. Jaws being told by their bench to keep running it, trying to come for Satan's highest scoring pass. Ooh, a little bit of a hard spill there. Looks like the jam is called off, but I didn't see the hands. I'm not sure. Might be the officials just checking in. Sometimes when we take a big fall and, you know, you show some signs of pain, you just got to make sure they're okay. But at the end of that jam, it looks like Jaws picked up 18 points for Arizona, bringing them up
So close.
It's 175 for Arizona, JRD 27. Who do we got on the track, Mecca?
Jam number 4, Helenati for Arizona, and Doctor of Destruction for JRD. Helenati making it through first, picking up lead jammer. I hear whistles. Somebody's going to the box. We got number 44, Blocker, headed to the JRD Night Owl box. Sorry, Pikachu, my bad. 303 made it through the front of the pack. Goldie makes it through, picks up 4 points, and calls off the jam. I definitely lost track of that action. I looked away for 1 second, and there it went.
Blink and you miss it, basically. That's why I brought my glasses. All right. That is a very, very interesting start for number 97. Bella Labral trying to pick up some speed by starting all the way in the back, but Gail Satan only needs just a short amount of space and is able to run through out with lead for Arizona. Gail Satan out with 4 scoring points here now. Looks like their bench is telling them to run it. That allows time for Pikachu to return to the track from the Night Owl penalty box to join their partners in crime to help out. Looks like Bella Labral still being held fast here on the outside lane at the apex, but TKO finally loses some traction on the floor. But looks like the tripod's still pretty quick to hold back Bella Labral, who hasn't been able to get through on their initial, so this is still a pretty solid run for Gail Satan. Gail Satan already at 16 points in this scoring jam here. We do have 54 seconds left in this jam. Looks like we're just going to keep running it for the full 2 minutes. Spins out of that last blocker, number 50. Looks like Cole. All right, the star has been passed over to Schindler's Fist. Schindler's Fist trying to break through that tripod holding fast on Schindler's Fist. Oh, with 30 seconds left, that is Gail Satan to the Night Owl penalty box, so it is a power jam for JRD. This is a good opportunity for JRD to throw some offense against this Arizona All-Star defensive. And that was 20 points that was made by Gail Satan in general, but still, this is a good opportunity for JRD to get through and start making some points. But we already see Gail Satan standing in the box, but the jam is done. That is the natural conclusion of that jam. So this will be a power start for JRD. They've got about a good, possibly 10 seconds or less Gail Satan being held back in the box.
The interwebs are messed up again.
We're going to call an official timeout. It looks like this scoreboard is frozen. A little bit of a technical issue here. So we'll just take a second and take a breather. This will be a good opportunity for JRD to talk some strategy about how they want to play this power start. What do you think would be a good strategy against the All-Stars here in this power start for JRD?
Definitely all 4 on offense.
All 4, just go for it.
Although, to be honest, watching Arizona, having skated against Arizona, skating with Arizona, I'm not sure what a good strategy would be because they're solid everywhere.
Well, I mean, if you look at who they put out for the jammer, I mean, a good strategy would be to just let the jammer to hit first. That way, Arizona doesn't have a chance to run forward. Because if you let all 4 people run forward to try to run some offense, they're going to just run away from it. So probably best to just let's see if, Sonic Boom is able to push them far out enough to get out with lead. Maybe this will work in their favor. But again, they have less than 10 seconds.
Probably in general, getting the other team's pack moving is a good idea. We've got number 14 heading through Sonic Boom as Gail Satan heads out of the box and back onto the track.
Oh, there we go. See? Great strategy. That's a good run here. We've got JRD's jammer just pushing up against Skatey Katie as the last line of defense, but has to let them go. Oh, beautiful run for Sonic Boom, and that power start in their favor. Picking up 4 points for JRD, bringing up their score to 31. Arizona now at the 200 mark, though, so 201 AZRD and JRD at 31.
Jam number 7, we're starting out with Doctor of Destruction for JRD and Jaws Breaker for Arizona. As both jammers head through the pack. Looks like Arizona got a late catch with 303. They are keeping her occupied. Jaws approaches the back of the pack, picks up 4 points, is keeping her eye on the other jammer and calls it off before the other jammer can make it even to the pack. That's 4 points for Arizona and 0 for JRD.
That didn't look good at all.
5-second call. Looks like we've got Helen Naughty going up against our captain for JRD. That's Cole. Cole takes a little bit of a spill, being taken down by Rage Beige. But Helen Naughty out with lead. Oh, for Rage's efforts, they are being sent to the Night Owl penalty box. So looks like a 3v3 defensive formation here for both teams against these jammers. Looks like Cole's got star in hand, passing it over to their pivot. That would be Lilo. Lilo still trying to get the star pass, but it looks like they did not complete that star pass. So actually, we still have Cole with star in hand, putting it securely back on their helmet so they can make some points. Helenati now just working on some jammer on jammer defense here, and is told by their bench to call it. So I'm assuming this is just to wind down the clock in their favor, because that is another strategy, right? Just slowing down the other jammer, just burning time. They made some 8 points there. They're at 213 to JRD's 31. It's like less than 19 minutes left.
We've got looks like a team timeout or an official timeout. Official review? Is that official review? We got an official review from JRD. What do we think it could be for? Do you think somebody threw a banana peel out on the track?
Or a blue shell.
It's true.
Everybody gets mad at a blue shell. I wouldn't be
You never know.
surprised.
You never know what these jammers have in their pockets when they're out on the track.
But yes, we'll hear about it shortly. I'm sure someone will give us the deets.
Maybe there was too much hugging.
Maybe. But while we figure that out, we're going to thank our sponsors. Who do we got to thank here for this wonderful weekend? We've got 888, who sponsors Arizona Roller Derby and is the favorite for most skaters in roller derby. 888 elevating derby safety standards with cutting edge technology. I know we've got our brand new purple helmets on. And we've got 187 killer pads to thank with their industrial strength materials, unmatched ergonomic design, and unparalleled excellence. Check them out at 187killerpads.com or 888.com to get your gear if you want to start your roller derby career today.
Hi.
Asked for a cut on Arizona's jammer.
Okay.
The no call stands.
No calls.
So the skinny on what just happened here for that official review, it looks like JRD is calling a cut track on Arizona's jammer. But the no call will stand. It looks like they looked at some footage, saw that it didn't really happen, and they'll lose that review. But never hurts to try, never hurts to double check.
It's true. Trying to take.
Here we go. Back to the jam. Jam number 9, Gail Satan, 710 for Arizona. And Sonnet Boom, number 14 for JRD. Looks like Gail Satan picked up lead jammer, and oh no! Boom dropped her helmet cover and had to go back and fetch it. Gail Satan approaching the back of the pack, trying to get through, and gets 4 points and calls it. Looks like number 17 from JRD heads towards the penalty box.
What the heck number was she? Looked like it said 17. What is she? Oh, maybe it was 77. Yeah, 77.
All right, we're going into that next jam. 5-second call. Everybody nice and tight on the jammer line. Oh, nice little hit from Doctor of Destruction trying to throw off West Coast Mafia, but in that, it looks like a big old lane on the inside was opened up for West Coast Mafia, who takes it and gets the lead for Arizona Roller Derby. We have up at the front a 2-blocker contingent holding back Doctor of Destruction, taking them back. Murder quick to run it back. Doctor of Destruction with star in hand, trying to hold him back. Goldie joining Murder. JRD trying to hold back West Coast Mafia, who skips through the outside lane and out with 4 points. Doctor of Destruction still working on that defense on the front, but skips their way around and out on their initial. Coming back around to see if they can get some points in. Lots of whistles. Looks like the pivot for Arizona Roller Derby is being sent to the Night Owl penalty box. This is a power jam, as West Coast Mafia was sent to the box.
For a back block.
So this is a great opportunity for JRD to run that offense, but Doctor of Destruction just being held back by Murder and Goldie up at the front, so. But they get split up enough, so Doctor of Destruction making 4 points. We do see the return of West Coast Mafia from the Night Owl penalty box, so JRD quickly refocusing on holding back West Coast. West Coast being knocked to the inside lane and recycled just as Doctor of Destruction runs through the outside lane and gets 4 points in the air. AZRD working quick on getting some offense to get West Coast Mafia out with also 4 points in the air. This is just exchange of points at this point. Ooh, Murder, nice little hit out to the outside lane. Just delaying Doctor of Destruction. Oh. But for Murder's efforts, they are sent to the Night Owl penalty box just as that jam comes to its conclusion. What shook out at the end of that jam? Well, between West Coast and Doctor of Destruction, that is a 16-point jam for West Coast Mafia, and 13 points for Doctor of Destruction. A very solid, productive jam, it looks like, bringing up Arizona to 229 and JRD to 44. Looks like an official timeout being called. Just checking in with our officials, making sure everything is still working. At the end, it looks like there is still a blocker apiece for both teams in the Night Owl penalty box at the end of that jam. So this will be a 3v3 start here between the two teams. And then speaking of Night Owl, we would like to thank Night Owl, our sponsor for our penalty box. A great spot to go if you want to have some New York style pizza by the slice or some smash burgers that are served within a warm and eclectic atmosphere and helped out by a friendly and welcoming staff. Just check them out at nightowlaz.com if you want to check out their menu post game. See if that will be the place to go. I know I might go there for a slice.
I'm not a fan of their pizza, but their salad, oh my God.
Hey, to each their own.
It's so good. They have a strawberry field salad. Oh,
I'm sorry,
we have a request from the Arizona
Coach.
Coach Riot. She would like us to stop talking about food. And I feel like that means we need to talk about it more.
But the consensus is we all would like.
They have some
something.
good burgers. The burgers are great.
And you know what? After this
Oh.
game, you can go to the food truck that's outside. We have 15 minutes left, so once this is done, go to the food truck, get some food, fill your belly up. It'll be great. I want to see another dance party.
Where's the music?
I
think that's
know.
our job.
Is it? Well, I don't have music. You have
I don't
music?
have. Nobody wants to listen to my music. We can make some.
Or we can go and do that little dance break that JRD was doing earlier. It seemed to work in their favor. Nice little ring around the rosy. Not sure what the name of the song is.
Jaws was trying to get the party started right there.
You know what? Yes. I'm always down for a Jaw party. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. And that's the end of that official timeout.
Here we go. Jam number 11. We've got Amanda Beating and Jaws Breaker out there as jammers. Looks like Amanda got recycled back a little bit. And they are being held up by Ima. It's difficult to see turn 2 from here, but it looks like there's a lot going on. Amanda tries to make her way through the pack. And I have lost sight of Jaws. And Jaws makes it out first and picks up lead jammer status. She adjusts her helmet as she makes it around turn number 1. Amanda has taken off the helmet cover, and sometimes that's just a diversion tactic. Jaws makes it through their first scoring pass with 4 points. Jaws gets back into the pack. Looks like the helmet pass, star pass, was completed successfully for JDRD. Number 50 picks it up just in time for Jaws to call off the jam. We've got Arizona picking up 8 points and JRD with 0.
Big feelings And big cheers from JRD. Everybody getting set up here, closer to the jammer line. 5 seconds. Looks like AZRD setting up on top of that blocker formation for JRD. Helen Naughty being held at the back here, trying to squirm their way through that defensive wall. Get some offense from Goldie Knox. Gets taken to the inside lane, but it's pushing their way through forward and gets knocked to the inside lane by number 847, Labia Benora. Ooh, but just as I say that, Miss Murder recycles number 713 Schindler's Fist. While that happened, we have Helen Naughty out with lead, coming around for a scoring pass for AZRD. And the star pass over to Lilo for JRD. Now got the star securely on their helmet. Naughty being forced to call off the jam. Oh, here we go. Looks like an official review is being called by Arizona Roller Derby. Or is it a timeout? Give me a second. Looks like the O is being held up, so I assume this is an official review being called by the Arizona coach, Riot. So we'll get the skinny on what happened there. But at the end of that jam, that was 4 points being picked up by Helen Naughty. So we are up to 241 Arizona All-Stars and 44 for Jewish Roller Derby here in Mesa, Arizona at the Rattleskate Rumble, hosted by Arizona Roller Derby. We've got 12 minutes left in this second half of this first game of the day.
I feel like in an effort to make Coach Riot more easily seen, that they need to incorporate some kind of sparkly or sequins into their outfit.
We got confirmation
on
from
game
TKO
days?
on the bench. Yes, I
Yeah,
would like
we've
to
got
see
some-
more glitter.
Some team support here for that. Maybe
Well-
we need to start like a GoFundMe and start to collect sequins, individual sequins that we can then attach to Riot's outfit.
See if we can put that in the suggestion box.
I think that purple jacket would look lovely if it was bedazzled.
Personally, I would put spikes on the shoulder or something, but you know,
They
that's
could
just
be
me.
crystal spikes.
La, 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 la. Yes, we do need music.
It's okay to be quiet for a minute. You can let people stew in their own thoughts.
Oh, right. So we did get information about that official review. So the coach for Arizona All-Stars did call an official review for a high block on the Jewish Roller Derby jammer, and they won the review. So this will be a power start for Arizona All-Stars. We will see Satan on the track, who is their high scores player here. Satan taking some bobbing and weaving through the track. It looks like takes one good hit on 613 and pushes through with lead on that quick power start for AZ All-Stars. AZ All-Stars now working on taking a goat here, sacrificing a goat to Satan. Yes! Finally, they've done it. I've always wanted to see that happen. I'm sorry. I got really excited for a moment. But yeah, Scale Satan taking the outside lane, being held up a little bit, allowing some time for JRD's Jammer to return from the box, who has quickly taken off the star cover to pass along to their pivot, number 303, Doctor of Destruction, who quickly moves those feet to split up that pack. Colette Razorcat at the final hit, but no, it's Squeezer who takes that final hit to slow them down. Satan out with 4 points in the air, checks their bench and calls off the jam. Oh. At the end of that jam, it looks like a late call was assessed to Doctor of Destruction, who had been successfully passed the star over. So this is another power start for Arizona All-Stars here. Seeing Doctor of Destruction starting out in the Night Owl penalty box. Who do we got on the track? Oh, go ahead.
My bad. Jam number 13, Power Jam for Arizona, starts off with Skatey Katie with the star. Skatey Katie gets out of the pack, earns lead jammer. Looks like Arizona is positioning to give them some offense. Offense is a sweep. Skatey Katie is left with one blocker to get around and successfully picks up 4 points. Katie approaches the pack one more time. JRD's Jammer, it looks like they're back on the track, heading into the pack. Skatey Katie makes it through one more time, picking up an additional 4 points. As JRD's Jammer is trying to get through Arizona's defense. Skatey Katie jumps the apex, does not land successfully, and is recycled back a tiny bit. Looks like JRD's Jammer gets through. Skatey Katie gets through, picks up their points, and calls off the jam. That leaves Arizona's Jam with 12 points and JRD with 0. Someday I'm gonna jump the apex effectively.
That used to be my dream.
It's still
And then
my
I took an
dream.
arrow to the knee. And by arrow, really,
I'll help you, you help me.
We'll help each other.
Absolutely.
We'll achieve our dreams one day. 5-second call. It looks like Jaws being matched up against number 9-7, Bella LeBral for JRD. Bella LeBral taken down on the inside by Sherman, who tracks them back and recycles them. But Bella LeBral pushing forward just as Jaws broke through the pack and was assessed lead. Sherman working on that recycle just has 9-7's number at this point. Very familiar with their prowess there on the track here. Looks like Jaws is coming around here on turn 3 and gets some offensive assist here by Ima, making another 4 points here for Arizona All-Stars. A beautiful run here for Jaws. All-Stars having successfully contained JRD's Jammer to allow Jaws to pick up a solid 8 points there, bringing up the score to 269 and keeping JRD at 44. There's less than 8 minutes left in this first game of the day.
Speaking of how amazing Derby is,
It is amazing.
have you seen these new helmets that Arizona's wearing?
They're a nice shiny purple. Yes, I have seen them.
They absolutely are. You know, Arizona Roller Derby is sponsored by
By-
888 and 187.
Oh, yeah. And as that conversation was happening, we see number 1 for Sonnet Boom assess lead for JRD against Helenati, who is out on their initial. But Sonnet Boom already in the thick of things, pushing that pack forward, forcing a no pack. Oh, calls the jam after getting a few hips. As Nadi was just closing in. That's a solid 3 points made by Sonnet Boom here for JRD. Bring up the score to 47, keeping Arizona at 269.
Jam 17, we've got Schindler's Fist skating for JRD and Gail Satan for Arizona. I lied. We've got Demand a Beating for JRD. And whistle blows and the jammers head through the pack. Satan swims through first, picks up lead jammer, followed very close behind by Demand a Beating. Satan heads back into the pack. They are taken out by one of the JRD blockers and calls off the jam. We've got 0 points for Arizona and 0 points for JRD.
Yeah, keeping your opposing team scoreless, that is always a win. You don't want them getting any more points, any juicy, yummy points.
We don't need no points. I lied. We do need points.
0-0 is always a win. For no one. But 5 seconds and we're off to the races. It looks like Sherman's taking the star for All-Stars and is out with lead. Sherman is a jammer. Going up against Schindler's Fist. Schindler's Fist pushing their way up, but gets recycled by Goldie Knox. Goldie Knox being taken to the back of the pack here. Working with their tripod here, quickly connecting, but gets some offensive assist here from number 8-7, Labia Monora. Labia Monora quickly turning into a tripod formation with their team to try to hold back Sherman. Sherman coming around for a scoring pass here, spinning around that track with style and picks up 4 points before calling it off. A solid 2 lap for Sherman, bringing up their score to 277 after making 8 points, keeping JRD at 47.
Did you know that Sherman is also a member of JRD?
Yes, I did.
It's always interesting to see
how they play against their own
skate
team.
against each other.
Oh, yeah.
Rolling into jam number 19, we've got Jaws Breaker and Doctor of Destruction as jammers. Jaws heads through the pack, followed very closely by Doctor of Destruction. There's some jammer chasing going on here. Jaws makes it back to the pack first, gets a point, and calls it off. We've got 1 point for Arizona and 0 points for JRD.
JRD reminds me of junior roller derby, and I'm so confused every time that comes out of my mouth. I'm like, these are not children. Uh-oh, timeout.
Another timeout with the officials, just touching base, making sure everything is solid before the end of this game. While we are checking in with each other, let's check in on what we're looking at penalty-wise. So far, looks like it's a pretty even spread between the two teams, having the same amount of penalties overall. We're mostly seeing just, looks like cut tracks for the most part, some forearms here and there. But yeah, before I was talking about penalties, it looks like the internet went out, so maybe that's why we're taking a second to breathe.
Trouble with the interwebs today.
Yeah, a little bit of an issue, but that's fine. We don't need the internet to talk about our sponsors. Let's give a shout out to our Night Owl penalty box sponsor. Night Owl is a superb eatery. Their goal is to provide superb New York style pizza by the slice and smash burgers with a warm and eclectic atmosphere served by a friendly and welcoming staff. If you need a place to, have some dinner at the end of this lovely day one here at Rattleskate Rumble. Check out Night Owl. Look at their menu online at nightowlaz.com. See if there's anything that sparks your interest. We would also like to thank our sponsors, 888, elevating Derby safety standards with cutting-edge technology. Check them out at 888.com. Also like to thank 187 Killer Pads, industrial strength materials, unmatched ergonomic design, and unparalleled excellence. 187killerpads.com if you want your body to be protected and secure.
To be honest, thank goodness for pads and helmets because I think we'd all be annihilated without them.
You know, it definitely softens the blow when you take a hard hit to the ground.
And the falling down and the getting back up.
Saves us from knee surgeries, wrist breaks and fractures, concussions sometimes.
I like 187 pads. They're amazing.
We're talking about preventing injuries with our amazing pads.
Our medic is currently worried that we were saying how many injuries that we've had, but actually
Just,
we're saying that our pads and our helmets prevent a lot of injury.
oh yeah, definitely. Most common injuries are to the knees and ankles, but we have excellent gear for that.
We're being approached by an official.
Yes, us too. The internet's like not even on. Okay. Okay.
All right, we did get a heads up that it is indeed the interwebs that are delaying the end of this game. So we'll check back in once we see the results of our reboot here. Our troubleshooting efforts are underway. So just take a second to breathe, refresh your snacks, get some drinks, visit the concession stand. Our juniors are at the front with their snackies available. So, you know, if you want to tide over that, you know, the hangries, definitely go visit our juniors up at the front.
And most of those snacks are made by the parents, mostly the moms of the junior roller derby team. And we all know that moms are amazing.
Correct, I agree. And they will be in full support of our juniors, who will be in the next game after this first game of the day.
That one's going to be up though? Okay. Okay. Absolutely.
So it looks like we're going to finish up with just the single scoreboard over here in the corner, which means as announcers, we aren't going to be able to see it. So I'm going to need people in the audience to shout at us the score in between every jam. Are we up for that? Okay.
Awesome.
We can do this together.
Yeah. Whoa. Because together we're better.
What jam number is this? Number 20?
Probably.
Maybe. Let's say jam number 20. We've got Hella Naughty
Sonic Boom.
and the Sonic Boom as jammers. Naughty makes it through the pack first, picking up lead jammer status. Boom is pushing. Oh, we've got a Star Pass. Star Pass has been given to number 626. Oh, and Naughty calls it off. And I don't know how many points that they picked up on that jam. We've got 4 points. Thank you, Coach Riot. We picked up 4 points. So I think the score is 282 to 47. Okay, I'm tracking.
To 47, yes. Thank you, Coach Riot. And off to the races, we got Gail Satan skipping through the inside lane, but also being outrun by, it looks like, Bella LeBrawl. Bella LeBrawl forced that call off on Satan, who's been the highest scores highest scoring jammer for the All-Stars. So, you know, to outrun Satan, that's
something.
that's a feat in itself. So good on you, Bella LeBron.
The Satan takes one step for like, I have to take 5 steps
Pretty much,
to catch
yeah.
up. So
Tall people and their long legs.
it's fine. It's fine. We got Skatey Katie and Amanda beating jam number 21. And Amanda Beaton makes it out first. Followed closely by Skatey Katie. Skatey Katie did not go out of bounds. We've got jammers are approaching the pack, and we've got Skatey Katie going through, picking up 4 points. And number 69, Amanda beating, picking up 3. That would make the score 286 to 50. I can add. Sometimes.
And off to the races, we got Doctor of Destruction going up against Jaja Breaker. Both of them trying to take their spot. And out is Jaws with lead, but Doctor of Destruction takes the inside lane, running quickly through and out on their initial, following closely behind Jawbreaker. All-Stars trying to run up, but JRD quick to try to hold him back, but quick to go back on defense because Jaws has hit the pack. Doctor of Destruction only having a couple to go through because there are 2 blockers in the box for the Night Owl penalty box for All-Stars. So this is definitely going to be a nice jammer race between the 2. They are neck at neck right now, both having made a scoring pass here. Sherman coming in hot, trying to catch up to Doctor of Destruction. And forcing the call off after getting the penalty box fully cleared out. Nice run for both teams here.
290 to 56.
Looks like it's going to be a scoring pass for both, bringing it up to 290 for Arizona and 56 for JRD.
Is the score 290 to 56? Somebody fact check us. Yes, check's good.
Yep, the math is good. The math is good. Numbers. All right. So it looks like a bit of a timeout. So I think it's a team timeout by JRD here. We would like to thank our tournament sponsor. That is RDOA, Roller Derby Officials Association of Arizona. Like to skate but have an aversion to get your face rubbed into sweaty armpits? Or do you like to keep stats and tidy notes to stay in control? Become an official. The Roller Derby Officials Association of Arizona helps connect aspiring officials, provides educational opportunities, and helps league staff their games statewide. Find them on Facebook at Roller Derby Officials Association of Arizona. Next whistle starts the jam. That's Helenati going against Doctor of Destruction. Oh, nice little offense here from number 6'9". Looks like Amanda Beating going out to help out their teammate, Doctor of Destruction, but Arizona quick to go around that offense, allowing time for Helenati to get out with lead. Doctor of Destruction pushing up with their team just as they were running out on the inside lane. Helenati calls the jam. Could that have been the end? Could anyone confirm? This is the conclusion of the game. And we will confirm the numbers here in a moment.
290 to 56.
All right, our unofficial score right now is 290 Arizona All-Stars and 56 for Jewish Roller Derby.
Stand by for.
I'm gonna stand by for any sneaky points. All right, that whistle signals the end of the jam. So officially now, that is 290 All-Stars, 56 for Jewish Roller Derby. Thank you for joining us on this first game of the day here at Rattleskate Rumble, hosted by Arizona Roller Derby in Mesa, Arizona, out of the Broadway Rec Center. Stay tuned. We still have more roller derby. The juniors will be having a mashup in the next game. Stick around, and we will be back.